Hello everybody, it's Shaf Rasul here. If this is the first time you've ever seen one of my videos, I'm a serial entrepreneur, I'm a former dragon on BBC Dragon's Den Online, and I'm a columnist for a national newspaper. Now I want to share a story with you guys today. It's a story about how I watched a video with Steve Jobs, and then I sat down and I thought, I wonder how I could adopt that strategy to my own business. So I went ahead, I adopted the strategy that Steve Jobs came up with to my business, and then afterwards, when I was talking to my friends about it, they were like, Shaf, how did you come out with that idea? And I says, well, I explained the story to them. I said, I saw a Steve Jobs video. And they're like, you stole his idea. In my opinion, I didn't, but it would be helpful if you guys left comments below and let me know, do you think I stole Steve Jobs' idea? Well, what do I have in common with the late Apple founder Steve Jobs? Well, Steve Jobs was exceptionally talented, and I think I've got a little bit of talent. What do you guys think? Secondly, Steve Jobs was a phenomenal entrepreneur, and in my time, I think I've done okay as an entrepreneur. Thirdly, Steve had really good chat, and I think I've got okay chat. I don't know what you guys think, but I certainly think I've got okay chat. And finally, whenever I saw Steve Jobs in a YouTube video or on the telly or anything like that, and I saw him talking, I just realised straight away, I thought, this guy has got the ability to think out of the box like nobody else. And I've tried to hone my skills when it comes to thinking out of the box. I've done a few videos about thinking out of the box. You'll see them just coming up on your screen in a minute. I think I thought out of the box when it came to my Crowd Kitchens development, my Crowd Kitchens business. If you don't know what Crowd Kitchens is, again, please go and check out the videos. They're on my YouTube channel. Now, Steve thought out of the box when it came to the iPad. Before the official release of the iPad, I remember reading about it and I was like, why on earth would anybody buy an overgrown iPod? And the press were saying that as well. You know, the press were polarised. There was a lot of people saying it was just going to be a load of nonsense. And basically, there was a lot of people that were saying it was going to be a phenomenal product, but nobody knew what it was going to be. There was rumours, as there always is with Apple products, that there was a new product coming out, and it was supposed to be some kind of a tablet, and there was various names put forward like iSlate and all sorts of things like that. But my view firmly was that I certainly wasn't going to get one. I mean, I had an amazing computer, I had an amazing laptop. What could this thing offer me that my laptop couldn't? Okay. Well, after Steve Jobs presented the iPad to the world from the stage at the Yerba Buena Center for the Arts in San Francisco in January 2010, I had to get my hands on one. I needed it, and I needed it as soon as possible. I wanted it so badly that I couldn't wait for the 4-week pre-order time and had to pay a substantial premium for a pre-owned one. Now today, it's impossible for me to imagine trying to organise my life and run my business without my iPad. Look, I've got it here right now. The cleverest thing about the iPad is, until I saw the presentation on the stage, I didn't actually realise I needed one. But as soon as I saw the presentation, I knew I had to have one. It's as simple as that. So anyway, for me to explain how I adopted Steve's strategy, we need to go back in time. Basically, in and around sort of 2007, I was driving to work and I was driving down the motorway and I saw there was a construction site. So I made a detour and I went up and spoke to the builders and the developers who were also on site. And I was like, guys, what are you doing in here? And they're like, we're building an industrial estate. And I thought, what a great location for an industrial estate. So I sat down with them and I did a deal. So I ended up buying the bulk of this industrial estate off them. And my plan was really simple. I paid just under £3 million for the industrial estate. It was really simple. I was going to find tenants for it and increase the capital value or the investment value once I'd got tenants in there, and then I was going to sell it out. There was a few units which I was going to just buy and I was going to flip on. So deal done, we agreed a deal, I agreed to buy the industrial estate. So it took quite a long time for the industrial estate to get created. So by the time the estate was handed over to us, we were in the middle of a recession. All of the people that were going to rent units from us basically didn't want to rent units. Either they didn't exist as businesses, they had huge cash flow problems, or the current premises they were in, originally the premises, they'd outgrown them, but now they were in the situation revenue had collapsed and they didn't need bigger premises. The people that were going to buy units off us couldn't get bank funding to buy the units, and there was no point in trying to take legal action against any of these people because, quite simply, they literally didn't have the money. So that left me with a bit of a huge problem. So we had the industrial estate revalued, and the value of this estate went down to £1 million. Let me say that again, it went down to £1 million. So we basically wiped out £1.5 million in value. And it was a vacant, basically, industrial estate, which meant we were paying rates on all of the vacant units. Now, to say I was stressed and annoyed was an understatement. And I remember watching this Steve Jobs video and I thought, well, Steve's come up with a gadget that we didn't even know that we needed. And everybody wants one. Now, we tried every single avenue to try and rent this industrial estate. We'd appointed 2 agents, we'd done loads of advertising, we'd created a website, we had press coverage, you name it, we did it, and we still couldn't let the units. My agents were urging me, they were saying, Shaf, let's drop the price. But the problem was, there was other industrial estates around which had vacant units, and all that would happen is we would start a war of attrition. So let's say we dropped our price to £5 per square foot for this industrial estate. Our competitors would just drop it down to 4.5. Then I would drop it down to 4. They would drop it down to 3.5, and the price would just go down. And this would be a problem because most leases are for 10 or 15 years. And all that would happen is we would basically destroy the capital or investment value of this industrial estate. So that wasn't going to happen. So literally, we had no lettings. Anyway, I thought back to the whole Steve Jobs iPad thing, and I thought I need to find clients that don't even know that they need industrial premises. I need to come up with a solution whereby I find a segment of people that take these units, and I need to do it in such a way whereby it doesn't even cost them a lot of money. So I thought about it. Now, in 2010, e-commerce was just really starting to gear up. We had Amazon sellers, we had eBay sellers, and the vast majority of these people, they used to work from home. They'd have all of their stock in their garage, they'd have it in their spare room, and they'd be dispatching orders. Now, it used to cost an eBayer £5 to send a parcel out. That was about the going rate. You know, if they were doing anything from, say, I don't know, 10 parcels to 100 parcels, it was costing them £5. However, if an eBayer was doing 2,000 parcels, it would cost them £3.50. So I came up with a cunning plan. My cunning plan was I had a meeting with a courier company. I sat down with them and I said, look, if we collectively give you 2,000 parcels from this industrial estate, what will you charge? And they said, we will charge you £3.50. I then got a list of eBayers in and around the local area. That was dead easy because you have the option to buy products locally on eBay. So when you do a search on a product, you can search it so it shows you the products that are closest to you. And we just basically contacted all these eBayers and we said, excuse me, how much do you pay for your carriage? And they're like, oh, we pay £5. Or some of them even paid more, some of them paid £5.50. And we said to them, look, why don't you move to our industrial estate and you will be charged £3.50 in carriage? Okay, you will make a saving on each order. Now, the saving you make, obviously, you'll have to pay rent out of some of it, but you'll be left over with a net profit. Very, very, very quickly, we started getting tenants in this industrial estate. We promoted it in the press, and the next thing you know, was this industrial estate basically was literally full within a matter of months. So that changed the value of our asset. So it went back from being vacant industrial buildings that are worth £1 million for the industrial estate, and it went close to the figure we'd actually paid for the industrial estate. So that's how I used Steve Jobs' idea. I thought, I need to apply this to somebody that doesn't even realise that they need an industrial unit. Now, we're going back into a recession. I've got no doubt that times are going to be hard. And if your business is struggling, what you need to do is you need to look around you and get inspiration from other businesses and try and apply that to your business. Anyway, listen, thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions, please post them in my Ask Shaf live videos, because every question you post in there, I take a selection of them and I answer them in the week following. So please post any questions you've got in my Ask Shaf live video. Thank you.